Sai Ram. My pranams to the viewers of Sai Shankara channel. In the last episode, I told you that we will have a virtual tour to Dwarakamai. So I had one of my friends calling me over and asking me, Soumya, you just told it is a virtual tour of Dwarakamai, but we saw only about the small red pillar. I then told my friend, it is impossible to cover the greatness of Dwarakamai in a single episode because you have so many, little things that you have to see in Dwarakamai. So I was telling my friend that we will have a virtual tour of Dwarakamai as the episodes pass by. So in each episode, you will have one or two things I will cover about this Dwarakamai, and in the final episode, you will have a literal tour of Dwarakamai, everything in a single episode. So right from the small red pillar to whatever I cover in all the episodes, you will have as a single episode. So till then, we will just go through the Dwarakamai. You just have a virtual tour like how you stand in each and every place. Just think, as and when I say think, when you stand, when I say about the red pillar, think as if you are standing before the red pillar. Enjoy the Leelas of Baba as and when I tell you. So, in the last episode, we saw about the small red pillar, and I start with a question where you pass the red pillar, you will find 3 steps. When you climb those 3 steps onto your left side, you will see something called Dhuni. Baba named it as Dhuni Mai. So I just asked a question. There are 3 steps. There could have been 4 steps, there could have been 2 steps, or there could have even been some 6 or 7 steps. So, what could these 3 steps represent? Because what Baba generally does is, I told you in the last episode, you remember? I was telling that he goes the pradakshina around this red pillar, and when he comes back, what Baba usually does is, he washes his feet in the 3 steps of when he climbs. He will wash the 3 steps and only then climb up to the Dhuni Mai. What does these 3 steps represent is, basically these 3 steps are the 3 gunas. These 3 gunas are something that binds the jivatma to your body. The jiva and the body, that bonding, that binding is because of these 3 gunas. So what is these 3 gunas? These 3 gunas are, generally they say as Sattva guna, Rajau guna and Tamo guna. They say as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So what are these 3 gunas? They should be something, right? So these Sattva guna is the highest of all. Any person living in this world will have one of these 3 gunas. So this first Sattva guna, what it does is, after our death, it takes our jiva to the higher worlds. If a person possesses this Sattva guna, after the person dies, it will take the jiva to the higher world. That is the Sattva guna. It is the highest of all. Then the next is the Rajas. What is this Rajoguna? Basically, when a person in the lifetime has too much of jealousy, lust, greed, etc., that means the person possesses the guna so-called Rajoguna. This Rajas, when a person so-called when the person possesses this Rajas, this guna, what it does after the person dies, so after their death, the jiva comes back to the earth. So this is what, again, the cycle of the next birth starts. That is what the Rajoguna does. And when a person possesses something called Tamas, the Tamoguna, when a person has this Tamoguna, when will a person have this Tamoguna? When the person mainly does this too much of sins, when the person is ignorant, they possess something called this Tamoguna. So when the person possesses this Tamas guna, what happens is, the jivatma, after the person dies, the jivatma goes back to the extreme lower world. Again and again, in the cycle of birth, they have to face too many difficulties. So these 3 steps are the Sattva guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So why Baba has had these 3 steps in Dwarakamai is because When you climb the 3 steps of Dwarakamai, you reach something called Parabrahma, where God is the absolute reality. So that realization a person should possess. So when you climb the 3 steps of Dwarakamai, you reach something called Parabrahma. What is this Parabrahma? Parabrahma, God is the absolute reality. So if you have to realize God, you have to climb the 3 steps with utmost faith and devotion, thanking Baba that this Janma, Baba has given us everything. Our eyes to see, to have blessed darshan of Baba, our mouth to chant Baba's Nama, and also our hands to do puja, to do service to Baba, our legs to climb the masjid, Dwarakamai, again to have the blessed darshan of Baba. So, these 3 steps represent the 3 gunas. So, once you climb the 3 steps, even today, you have those 3 steps. When you go to Dwarakamai, you have seen in the screen. But when you go to Shirdi, go to Dwarakamai, see these 3 steps. When you climb the 3 steps, onto your left side, you see something called Duni. What is this Duni? Baba, this Duni was lit, probably 150, 160, 170 years ago. So it means more than 150 years, ever since then, the Dhuni is continuously burning. What is this? Baba used to collect all the, logs of wood. He used to put ghee and he used to light the wood, that he named it as Dhuni. And the ashes from that Dhuni, Baba called it as Udhi. This Udhi has miraculous powers, which I will discuss later. But what does this Duni Mai represent? As I told you, there is some greatness of this red pillar, and today we saw the greatness of those 3 steps. So, what does this Duni Mai represent? Basically, when you just think about the fire, let us keep like this. You offer ghee to the fire and you put so much logs of wood and you light it. But even then, the fire, it absorbs lot of ghee. When it keeps absorbing ghee, even then the fire is unsatisfied. It wants more and more ghee. As and when you put ghee, it keeps growing brighter and brighter. So does it have some connectivity with our life? Keep thinking about it. Definitely the red pillar has some connectivity with our life. Those 3 steps have a beautiful connectivity with every person living in this world. So obviously, the Dhuni Mai has a beautiful connection with every person. Keep thinking what it could be. The answer of this Dhuni Mai will be revealed to you in the next episode. Until then, my humble pranams to the lotus feet of Sai Baba. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.